Hi, happy Friday everybody. It's Bill Russell from CrossFit Cleveland in Rocky River, Ohio. I'm here with details for the workout for Friday, March 27th, 2020. On this video, I'm going to talk about the warm-up for today and then go over the workout details. If you're good and understand all the movements, you're ready to roll, set your clock and go. When I'm finished going over the details, we'll follow with demonstrations of each of the movements just to make sure that you know how to perform them properly. So today the warm-up is pretty short. This workout doesn't really require a lot of warming up. I just want to get a little bit of sweat on your forehead, raise your body temperature just a little bit. So you're going to do our CrossFit Cleveland ab routine. 15 reps, just one time through. The movements be a Samson stretch, both 15 seconds right and left, then sit-ups, any style that you want, squats, flutter kicks, plank jacks, bicycle crunches, and supermans. Again, 15 reps, one time through. So the workout today is more accessory work and skills. Some of our members call this Friday Fun Day. It's a Partition Any Way workout and it's not for time. So with that said, if you haven't had too many workouts this week and you really want something that's going to kick your butt, I would recommend that you pick something else if you want. Maybe dial back to last Friday for our 1,000 rep or 1,000 point Friday workout. That's a doozy. And if you did it already, you can go back and do it again and just make different selections. So our workout today, again, it's Partition Any Way. You're going to do 50 push-up negatives. I want a 10 to 12 second lowering for each of those push-up negatives. You can do a strict concentric and pop yourself back up, or you can just drop to your knees and get back up into a plank. Trust me, after you do a dozen or so of these, your arms are going to be burning. So you may not be able to do as strict a push-up as you think. The focus here is on the lowering. Next movement is 50 weighted glute bridges, left and right. So they're single leg glute bridges, 50 left and 50 right. Next movement, you're going to do 50 bent over rows, left and right. So they're single arm. Next is 50 weighted Romanian deadlifts, and that's both feet. It's not a single leg Romanian deadlift. You're going to hold the weight in front of you. And then a 5-minute plank hold. So you need to accumulate all that work before you're done. And you have a 35-minute time cap. A couple ways you can approach this. You could do it straight through, which is not recommended, but if you choose to do that, have at it. Most people would take, in our gym, would take and divide those 50 up into sets of 10 and do 5 rounds. And so this way, if for some reason you don't get it done by the time cap, you've got a pretty good mix and balance of all the movements. So again, I would say 80 to 90% of our people would split this up, 10 reps each, and then a 1-minute plank each round, and work it for 5 rounds. If you keep steady at this, you'll get it done in between 25 and 30 minutes, maybe 35. The 35-minute time cap should be safe. But it's there just to give you a way to call uncle, if you will. If you're going at the 35-minute cap and you've got the time and you want to finish, you're more than welcome to do that. But we like to set a time cap just so people can keep on pace and know when they're going to finish. And your cool down, if you have the time, I want you to do 1 walkout to 5 supermans. And you do that 5 times. And then you're done. If you want to mix in any of your favorite stretches, feel free. So if you're good with the details, good with the move. So there you have it. So if you're good with all the movements, you can get ready. I would set a clock. Again, it's not to time the overall workout, but it's to time yourself so you can pace yourself to see how you're doing. So now we'll start the movement demonstration portion of the video. Have a great day.
Hi, we're going to start with a Samson stretch. So, Samson stretch, you want to put both your feet facing forward and you want to square your hips off so that they're facing whichever way you're facing. We're going to take our hands, clasp your hands, bring them up and over your head. This is just a light stretch to start the blood flowing. Some people you'll see will do this with a deep lunge. We're not doing that here today. We're just getting that nice stretch through your hip flexors, into your shoulders, and just hold it for about 10 seconds on each side. I wasn't counting, but I'm going to switch sides. Again, remember, both feet facing forward. You can go as wide as you need or as narrow, and making sure that you're getting that hip flexor opened up in this stretch. Here's the demonstration of the sit-ups. If you have an ab mat, this is a good time to use those. If you don't have an ab mat, you can use a pillow or a blanket or a towel or sweatshirt, anything that you want. Just roll it up and you're going to put it into the small of your back. I'm going to show you a couple different versions, but I'm going to start with this one where we take our feet and put them together in what we call frogging our legs. Every time you do a sit-up, you want your shoulders to touch the ground and you want to sit up and all the way up. I like to touch my toes, but I'm coming all the way up, and each time is all the way back and all the way up. If that's too difficult for you and you need a little bit of a modification, you can take your feet further away or put them up here, and then you can do the same thing and just sit all the way up. Make sure you're sitting all the way up, shoulders touch the ground each time. The other option, if that's too hard and you can't sit all the way up, I want you to just do a crunch, okay? So just think about taking your hands straight overhead, and I just want you to think about your fingertips going straight up to the ceiling, all the way down. Up. You notice my shoulders are still touching the ground each and every time. Here's a demonstration of a squat. For a squat, you're going to take your feet hip distance apart, and you're going to take your feet and just slightly point it out rather than just straight forward. You're going to take your feet out, chest is up, the weight is going to stay in the back and out of your feet is how I like to describe it. Thinking about if you were on a beach and you were spreading the sand away and you didn't want to sink in. Keeping your chest up, again, I like to keep my arms up. That was a good reminder to look up, chest up. You're going to sit below parallel and then straight back up. Thinking about pulling up through your inner thighs and keeping your feet on the ground. Don't come up onto your toes. Okay, so a couple more of those so that you can see. Chest is up, below parallel, all the way up, squeeze. This is the top, all the way back down. Don't short it here. Get that squeeze in. I'm going to demonstrate a plank jack for you. So a plank jack is getting into that hollow hold. You want to make sure that you're in a nice plank position. From here, we're just going to take your feet out and in. That's one. Out and in. I'm not hopping, right? Nice, and keep it nice and tight. That core is tight. Everything is activated, and out and in with your feet. I'm going to demonstrate a flutter kick for you. Sometimes we do a 2-count flutter kick, sometimes a 4-count flutter kick, but I'm just going to teach you the 2-count right now. Every other right, left is 1, because 1 is never really 1. I'm going to take my hands and put them underneath my hips, right here. I'm going to keep my shoulder blades off the ground and into that nice gymnastics hollow hold, and then just flutter. That's 1, 2, 3. You could go big if you wanted, but it's not necessary. Just right here, keeping the small of your back on the ground. Keep breathing on these, making sure that the movement's coming out of your hip. You don't want to be doing this, right? So keep your legs straight, down, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need to count every leg, just double that number, whatever it is. Bicycle crunches. So the demonstration for a bicycle crunch is, again, you want that nice hollow hold. Are you getting this? We're in this hollow position a lot. The nice tight core, everything's tight. Shoulder blades are off the ground, and our feet are off the ground. Bringing one knee in at a time. That's 1. Right, left is 1. If you watch my Flutter Kick video, you'll know that 2 is usually 1. Superman. So Superman, you're gonna go lay out flat onto your stomach, arms and feet out ahead of you, head is down, and you're just gonna come up, give it a good squeeze, and all the way back down. All the way back down. Each time, if we're doing 10 of those, just squeeze it up, give it a nice hold, couple second hold, and then bring it back down. You're gonna do, if we're doing 10, you're gonna do that 10 times, not like the Samson stretch where you just hold it.
I'm going to demonstrate push-up negatives, slowly lowering from the top of the push-up down to the floor. We're looking for a 10 to 12 second count. Going to come up top of a push-up, nice plank, hollow position, and then count 1001, 1002, 1003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and down. Back up. That's one rep. You may find that that gets pretty difficult getting back up out of that bottom of the push-up. So if you need to just crawl back up, the whole focus here is starting from the top. If you can't hold that position for that 10 or 12 seconds in a plank, you can do it from your knees. It's still good work. It's a good strengthening movement. So here I'll get on my knees, but don't let your hips sag. You want to keep your butt up in the air and your back flat. Same thing, letting your elbows come straight close to your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So here, if you need to do this, and you probably will, just get yourself back up to either off your knees or your plank, and again, slowly drop down, keeping your elbows nice and close. When you're doing it, think about corkscrewing your hands into the floor. It'll put your shoulders in a good position, externally rotated, nice and solid. Don't have your elbows flaring out. Back in nice and close. I'm going to demonstrate a single leg weighted glute bridge. I'm going to put the weight, you can use a dumbbell, kettlebell, our handy laundry detergent bucket or bottle. I'm going to keep the weight on my belt line. I'm going to lift one foot off the ground. I'm going to do my right leg, and I'm going to do all the reps necessary with one side, and then I'll switch to the other. I'm going to drive my heel into the ground, and I'm extending my hip, squeezing my glute. Squeeze your butt cheeks together. So I have a little bit of a pause at the top. Don't race through this. Drive your heel down, extend your hip, and down. Up and down. And you'll switch the weight to the other side and complete those reps. I'm going to demonstrate a bent over row. I'm going to use a kettlebell. You can use a dumbbell. I'm going to start out, I have my staggered stance. I'm going to pick up the kettlebell. I like to lean forward into my forward knee with my shin perpendicular to the ground, so the weight is directly underneath my shoulder. And I'm going to just pull up and back down. Up and back down. I'm going to keep my elbow in nice and close to my body. You can also do what's named a Pendlay row after the late great Glenn Pendlay. With that, instead of staying nice and strict, you give a little bit of a drive out of your feet to get the kettlebell moving. It's a little more explosive. So I'm not picking up my shoulders, I'm not changing my body angle. But I'm driving into the floor, popping up and back down, and keeping my elbow nice and close and focusing on starting this movement in the muscles in my back. Okay? If I keep my elbow close, my lats get worked, so your lats help to extend your shoulder. Okay? So don't flare it way out to the side, keep it in nice and close. If you don't have a kettlebell or a dumbbell, you can get creative. Here's our bottle of laundry detergent. Same position, forward, front. I'm going to just row, squeezing my shoulder blades together and then pulling up. Think more about muscles in your back than in your arms. So after your required number of reps, We'll switch into the other side, get in that similar position, chest up, and row. If you don't have a heavy bottle of laundry detergent, if you have a rucksack or a gym bag, that'll work as well. So just get creative if you're working out of your house and you don't have proper equipment. You even go out and get a toolbox, fill it with a bunch of stuff, same position, up and down. I'm going to demonstrate a Romanian deadlift using a kettlebell first. So I'm going to come up, keeping my chest nice and straight, and I'm going to pick up my kettlebell. Now I like to have my feet underneath my hips, a little narrower. And now I'm going to hinge from my hips. I'm going to send my butt back and lower down, keeping the weight close to me, and then pop it back up. I want to keep my back straight. Only go as low as you can. Once you feel your back start to round, you want to stop. You want to keep a nice tight back, down all the way, and back up. I like to go down slow and always pop back up. That's a Romanian deadlift. You can do the same with the toolbox, the rucksack, or our laundry detergent. Holding the handles, keeping that weight close to your body. Let this slide right down the front of your legs. Down and back. Down and back. I'm going to demonstrate a good old-fashioned plank hold. And if you'd like, you can add some weight today. An easy way to add weight to your plank when you don't have somebody to put something on your back is a rucksack. Just watch that it doesn't slide up into your neck. I want to keep it low, weight right over my belt line. Get onto my forearms, come up into a hollow, and hold. What I want you to avoid is don't let your hips sag. Ooh, this is not healthy for your lower back. You should be straight or in a little bit of a hollow. And hold that for as long as you can. I'm going to demonstrate a walkout to a Superman. So reach down, keeping my legs straight. I'm going to touch my ankles or my toes. I'm going to walk myself out, flat onto the ground, come up and do one Superman, or if there are more required in the workout, do as many as programmed, and you're back up. Walk back, keeping your legs straight, all the way back. Touch your ankles and stand. That's one rep.